I'm Robin Marsh. Police say 2 people are killed in an early morning head-on collision on Southwest 24th and Agnew. Police say the driver of the truck who caused the crash appeared to be under the influence. We have a live report coming up.
And Richard Glossop's bond hearing took a backseat Monday after questions arose about a potential plea deal from 2023. I'm Lisa Monahan in for Colby Thielen. Why the state attorney general says he's pushing for transparency about this agreement. Plus this.
Watching something like this have an impact on my little girl's mind that she might not even realize yet makes my blood boil.
A family in northwest Oklahoma City says they're traumatized after a naked man ran into their home, scaring their 6-year-old daughter. Where officers caught the suspect later, that story coming up at 6:45.
Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
Good morning, Oklahoma. 6 o'clock on your Tuesday. We have so much to get to. It's been a busy morning on the roads. Also going to check in with Lacey Swope in the weather department.
Yeah, our news trackers are already out across the metro this morning, and we will get to that breaking news, a deadly crash at Southwest 24th and Agnew. It's coming up in just a moment.
But first, we have to turn our attention to the Bob Mills Weather Center because, Lacey, it was a hot one yesterday and some more heat today.
Yeah, the dangerous heat's the headline here at the Bob Mills Weather Center. That's what we're talking about really for the next few weeks, with the heat dome really in the vicinity and hanging out. It's just a classic summer pattern, classic for the end of July and heading into August. We do have rain opportunities here and there, though, and I want to show you that. First, let me show you the temperatures across the nation. It's warmer in Minneapolis than it is at Will Rogers World Airport here in OKC, 75 versus 73. This time of year, those cooler temperatures up around the Arctic Circle in the 30s, and as we go through the next several weeks, this is where the cold air will start to pool, and this is where eventually our cold fronts will start to come from. But we are a long way from that pattern setting up. We're tracking the potential for a weak front on the end of your 9-day. That cold front that's moving through the northern plains, it does not make it into Oklahoma. We were tracking storms overnight up to the north, a few thunderstorms in northern Oklahoma, and now right now on Next Gen Live, a couple thunderstorms out into Roger Mills County near Moorwood and Cheyenne. Winds 40, 45 miles per hour out of them. Did have a gust at the Mesonet site in Cheyenne as that storm was collapsing of 45. And they're noisy, but there are only 2 of them, and they are small. This is the view right now in Oklahoma City. Clear skies and 73. How hot do we get today? We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Lacey, thanks so much. Waking up, starting with breaking news this morning. Tough way to start the day. We know 2 people are killed this morning in a head-on crash in southwest Oklahoma City. News 9's Kylie Dedman is live at the scene at Southwest 24th and Agnew. Kylie, tell us what you've learned there at the scene from authorities.
Yeah, so they're actually still starting to work on getting this opened up again. They have a tow truck out here that has one of the cars already loaded up. The car that is loaded up, that's the car that had the deceased driver that was deceased here at the scene, and then the passenger that was deceased at the hospital. Now, they had the truck behind me. They're working on getting that truck loaded up on the tow truck. Again, to clear this out, that truck was the one that had the driver that is currently in custody at the hospital because he was showing signs of intoxication. Now, I don't know the signs of the extent of his injuries or the extent of what charges he will be facing at this moment. That's something that we are working to learn. Now, they are starting to clear out this scene, so I want to show you what it looked like earlier this morning. Now, again, this was a 2-car head-on collision. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning. The lieutenant on scene told me that the truck driver went left of center, and again, he was showing signs of intoxication. Now, there was another passenger in the other vehicle. We do not know the extent of their injuries at this moment. So again, this was 2 people that died here, and then also 2 people that were taken to the hospital, and we're still learning on their injuries at this time. But again, they are working to clear up and open up this road. Again, this is Southwest 24th Street in South Agnew here in the Stockyard City area. Reporting live this morning, Kylie Dedman, Oklahoma's own News 9.
All right, Kylie's there at the scene again. Agnew closed down. Just be very careful in that area on the southwest side of 24th.
A Waffle House employee is stabbed in a dine and dash in northeast Oklahoma City. This all happened around 10:30 last night at the Waffle House near I-35 and northeast 122nd. Oklahoma City police say 4 people walked out without paying and and the employee confronted them. Officers say that's when one person in the group stabbed the employee in the back and then ran off to a nearby motel. Police say they have a description of the suspect vehicle, but right now the suspect is still on the run. And one person is hit by a vehicle in southwest Oklahoma City. That victim now in critical condition. This crash happened at around 10:45 last night near Southwest 15th in Portland. Police say the victim is in the hospital, and officers have not said whether the driver stayed at the scene.
Well, former death row inmate Richard Glossop was back in court yesterday asking for his release. Glossop's attorney says that they reached a plea deal with Attorney General Getner Drummond in an email exchange back in 2023. Under the terms of that possible deal, Glossop would plead guilty to accessory after the fact in exchange for not suing the state, and he would receive time served, which means he would be able to be released. But the Attorney General says that agreement was never finalized.
I have known about it previously before coming here, and so yeah, I'm aware that there was an agreement.
We have more information on this case coming up at 6:30.
All right, Megan Gold watching the road for us this morning all across the metro. How are we doing right now, Megan? Good morning.
Well, good morning. Of course, still an active scene out at Southwest 24th and Agnew, the scene of that double fatality crash. Just terrible on our Tuesday morning. Best to avoid that scene as they are still conducting kind of the last little bit there out at the scene. That is South Agnew and Southwest 24th on the south side. And here this is Broadway Extension. If you're coming in from the north side, Broadway Extension looks fine there at Britton and Hefner, and then also off on the east side, I-40 and Air Depot over by Tinker. I-40 looks great as well. A new crash, though, popping up on the northeast side. That's going to be I-35 at Northeast 50th, causing a little bit of a slowdown. And then again, back on the south side, I mentioned this earlier, but if you're just now joining us, there was a reported crash that had closed down I-35 northbound, and that is clear. There is no slowdown there, and you're good to go if you're traveling I-35 northbound.
Megan, thanks for the update right now. Oklahoma first responders are heading home from helping with flash flooding and the response taking place in Texas and New Mexico. The Oklahoma Fire Department says 2 teams are back, one from Texas, one from Mexico, and that one task force will be staying in Texas as they continue with recovery efforts. Today is your last day to apply for federal disaster assistance from the March wildfires. The State Emergency Management Department says more than $7 million has been paid for wildfire victims. You can actually make claims for damage and apply for the loans online by 11:59 is the deadline tonight.
Several Oklahoma hospitals are at risk of closing due to sweeping federal Medicaid cuts. Those cuts go into effect late next year. The Center for Healthcare Quality and Payment Reform estimates 60% of Oklahoma's rural hospitals are at risk of closing. One leader at Mercy Hospital says they are actively pursuing different ways to make up for those future budget cuts.
If we do the right things, and we do them for the right reason, and we continue that way, and we share openly and honestly what these impacts are going to be, then we can believe and trust that our legislators will respond.
Governor Kevin Stitt says if federal adjustments are not made, cost burdens will shift to the state of Oklahoma.
Well, 2 Dale City police officers are honored for saving the life of a driver hurt in a crash back in May. Police say a woman was bleeding from her neck after her car flipped and caught on fire on I-40 and Sunny Lane. She was thrown from that car. When officers arrived, they performed that aid. The chief says officers Matthew Lisenby and Aaron Odell kept her alive until paramedics got there. They were reunited with the woman they saved yesterday.
It's a tremendous feeling that you get to see somebody that you work to try to save their life.
We didn't know if everything we were doing was the right thing, but we got it done, and it was nice to see her walking around, nice to see her up and moving.
The City Council presented 2 life-saving awards to those officers just last night.
Oh, that's incredible. What a
Great
story.
work.
And so many times they don't get to see the final chapter of the person they helped. So it's lovely that they got to reunite with her.
She had a smile on her face.
She's a miracle.
It is, definitely. And you're right. I mean, it kind of puts a warmness in your heart that you get to say thank you to the people who saved your life.
Absolutely.
You know? Oh, man.
Way
All
to go,
right.
Dell City.
Okay, speaking of warm, or just downright hot. No other way to say it, Lacey, right?
Yeah, absolutely miserable at times. That's kind of the temperatures and the conditions during peak heating here across the state of Oklahoma. Today, right now, guys, we have 60s, we have 70s, some areas in the upper 70s, depending on where you are. A couple thunderstorms out in Roger Mills County. We'll talk about those and a live look on our Norman cam. There's the traffic on I-35 right near Tecumseh. We're in the mid-upper 70s. We're quickly warming to the upper 90s again today with the heat index around 100. Storm chances go up for some tomorrow into tomorrow night. We'll talk about that coming up.
Other headlines this morning, President Donald Trump and Harvard University going head-to-head in the courthouse, and Tesla under fire for the misuse of self-driving vehicles. Those stories are ahead.
Plus, the Oklahoma Attorney General is now handling the case of a former Choctaw teacher accused of sex crimes against a student. The reason the victim's family wanted the AG to take over her case, it's ahead on News 9. All right, out the door forecast. Get outside now if you have to get out today.
Yeah, right now. Running back inside.
See if you can.
Hey, you guys are going to be fishing later today, and we're going to be live streaming. You and David Payne and some guests are going to be fishing today. Can't wait to share that from 9 to 10 this morning, right?
Yeah, it's from 9 to noon.
Oh, 9 to noon, okay.
Park. Yeah, downtown Oklahoma City. We will be live streaming it. You had to register for it, and the registration is completely full. But for folks that are coming, we are very excited. We're partnering with the Wildlife Department, and it's just to teach people how to fish.
You're going to sweat really bad today, Lacey.
I am. David, we'll see what David shows up in. I can only imagine what he's going to be
light colored
wearing.
clothing.
Yeah, he'll have that visor with the hair. I already know
Zinc on his nose.
I told him, I was like, you should wear like your big like sun hat.
Yeah,
you know?
Garden hat. There you
really
go.
should. If you have things to do, do it this morning.
Right,
I'm telling
early.
you, get it done early, because even by the evening hours before sunset, it's still so stinking hot. So today, humidity is not quite as high as what we had yesterday. Will you be able to tell the difference? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it is going to be a few degrees cooler. Temperatures this morning are in the 70s. We'll be warming today into the 80s, and then eventually the 90s with sunny skies. You'll need sunglasses again today. That heat index will be around 100 degrees. Tomorrow, still about the upper 90s, close to 100. And you notice it just kind of fluctuates by a few degrees. Some of our hottest heat indices look to return around Saturday and Monday on your 9-day forecast. We'll have to introduce some rain chances off and on, though. And man, there was a lot of water yesterday up in Kansas. Big storm system moved in, developed an area of low pressure, and just kind of parked itself. Still tracking some storms up near Russell, Kansas, but it pushed this big boundary, which is a cold front. It was rain-cooled air into northern Oklahoma. And then, folks, overnight up to the north, you got some pockets of very heavy rain and some noisy storms near Fort Supply, near Freedom. It wasn't everyone. A few scattered storms developed up in Decay County as well. And now you are dry up to the north. But you did get some pockets of rain. Fort Supply about an inch, 3/10 of an inch north of Enid. And there were some areas that had those isolated storms. And this morning, still tracking a little rain out into western Oklahoma. Those storms flared up at about 4 this morning. The bulk of the rain, the bulk of the widespread activity today is with this big complex going on through the Dakotas, and that's staying way away from Oklahoma. All we're getting right now on Next Gen Live is what's going on in Roger Mills County. I will say these cells have picked up speed a little bit. We've been talking about over the past hour. They're moving about 15 to 20, but the one near Morewood, it's almost gone. The lightning is gone with it. The intensities are coming down. Meanwhile, the one to the west of Cheyenne on Highway 47 has a little bit more lightning with it. It's actually kind of on an upward trend. We'll try to make it up near Radom, and eventually Durham could have winds 40, 45 miles per hour within that. So we're monitoring that. Clear skies, completely clear, crystal clear overhead on our Lucky Star Skycam network across the metro. And we're in the low 70s, some mid 70s, some upper 70s. Tulsa's holding on to the 80s currently at the airport. 75 in Shawnee, 74 in Guthrie, 76 in Weatherford. Some 60s across northwest Oklahoma, slightly cooler, and winds are anywhere from 5 to 15. Today, you'll notice more of a southwesterly direction in that south wind. That lowers the humidity some. It mixes out the humidity. So while the air temperature still upper 90s, close to 100, the heat index will not be as extreme as what it was on your Monday. Slight chance of rain in the west today. We'll be monitoring that. And there's a storm system riding along the edge of the heat dome. It's coming from the south to the north. That's what's causing those storms to move in that direction. That storm system impacts us more greatly, if you will, into your Wednesday, and then Wednesday night into Thursday, maybe by Friday morning that it's out of here. Heat dome tries to set up shop over Oklahoma into your weekend, into the start of next week. That ridge breaks down and we'll have another weakness, which means more rain chances middle to end of next week, and the temps come back down some. So the good news is with this pattern, we're not in one of those scenarios where the heat dome just sits overhead and our temperatures skyrocket and we just stay there. We keep getting these weaknesses and these little areas of low pressure that are riding on the fringes of it. Overnight tonight, lower in mid-70s, slight chance of rain tonight coming in from the south. Tomorrow, 93 degrees, low 90s in western Oklahoma due to the clouds and the potential for a few thunderstorms. A few of the storms tomorrow could produce some 60-mile-an-hour winds and maybe up to quarter-size hail. But you notice for the metro, those chances are 20% or less. Not quite as hot, and maybe a cold front by midweek next week. Back to you guys.
Well, other headlines this morning, the Trump administration and Harvard University facing off in a Boston courtroom yesterday. Harvard University is challenging the administration for freezing more than $2 billion in grants. On social media, President Trump calls the university anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, and anti-America. No ruling has been made in the case.
The former Kentucky police officer convicted in the killing of Breonna Taylor has been sentenced to 33 months in prison. Taylor was shot and killed during a drug raid back in 2020. Brett Hankinson was found guilty of violating Taylor's rights while executing a search warrant at her home.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk facing 2 lawsuits over the use of Tesla's self-driving vehicles. One of those involves a deadly crash after a Tesla driver relied on the autopilot program while they looked for their cell phone they dropped. Another seeks to suspend Tesla from selling their cars in California due to misleading information on its self-driving features.
6:19 on your Tuesday. Time now to check in with Megan Gold, who's watching the roads for us this morning. Megan, already a deadly day out on the roadways.
Oh my gosh, terrible with that crash, the double fatality crash on Agnew and Southwest 24th. I will show you that on a map here in just a moment. I've got a couple of views for you if you're headed out the door. This is Broadway Extension there, looking at Britton to Hefner from our American Fidelity camera from Northwest Expressway. Lake Hefner Parkway, I-44 looks fine if you're headed out the door. And then I-35 on the south side, just north of I-240 at South 66th. Of course, I-35 northbound gets very busy in the mornings, and as of right now, it looks great. There was a vehicle fire reported I-35 in the northbound lanes at Northeast 50th, causing a little bit of a backup. And then again, that terrible double fatality crash on the southwest side, South Agnew and Southwest 24th. That is still an active scene, so best to avoid that area if at all possible. Your drive times into Oklahoma City right now from all directions are good to go.
Coming up, 3 loose cows shut down traffic on I-40 at the Dallas Junction, I-40, I-35. How troopers finally handled it. We'll show you the video coming up.
Your Oklahoma Ford dealers and News 9 want you to have a summer of fun. This is your cue to text for your chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Heenan's Home Furnishings. Plus, every winner gets a chance to win a new 2025 Ford Bronco Sport. Text GIFTS to 79640. Bus Stop Forecast is sponsored by Comfort Wave.
This was pretty crazy. 3 cows got loose and caused a massive backup on I-40 at I-35 Dallas Junction yesterday. And it took them a while to wrangle these guys in. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol says 2 cows were safely caught. We watched as a third was unsuccessfully, kind of messed with along the traffic route. Unfortunately, one of the cows, while trying to run away, broke its leg. It had to be put down. They finally got everything cleared. But a lot of looky-loos up there on the interstate saying, am I seeing another cow disrupting an interstate in Oklahoma?
It'd be hard not to be a looky-loo in that situation.
Easy, big guy. Okay, we're friends. I like it that he earlier had a horse halter trying to rope the cattle. Like, that was not going to work.
Look at that cow looking at him like, what do you think you're about to do, buddy? There you go. Only in Oklahoma, right?
Only in Oklahoma. Oh, man. All right, from the Bob Mills Weather Center this morning, the outdoor forecast. How are we doing outside, Lace?
Doing really good. I just want to hear those phone calls that those drivers were making to their bosses.
Get the 911
Listen,
calls.
I'm stuck in traffic traffic. You're not going to believe this.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
A cow won't
I'm taking video.
Sure, Joe. Right you up for that one. Guys, check out this picture. How cute is Seth? He's 3 years old. His mama sent me this from El Reno Lake. He's absolutely the cutest thing I have ever seen. And then check out this next picture of him. He loves to fish. Look at him with his little catfish. I love his hair. I just want to squeeze him.
It comes up to his waist.
I know. 3 years old and hooked on the outdoors. Today, guys, the winds are still a little gusty. If you're heading to the area lakes, it's hot. Enjoy the bodies of water. Be safe. 95, 96 with a heat index of 100. We'll talk more about rain chances going up for some coming up. Back to you.
I was actually at the meeting where that agreement, I think, started.
Coming up, Richard Glossop's murder conviction was overturned, and now a plea deal might set him free. Where the court battle over that plea deal stands, it's coming up on 9.
Plus, an Oklahoma man and his family were executed in Syria, according to federal officials. The action state leaders say they're now taking. We're back after this.
You're watching Oklahoma's own News 9 this morning.
6:30 on our Tuesday morning. Good morning, Norman. Looking nice this morning. Sunrise is coming up. Breaking daylight. What did they tell Lacey? Daybreak.
It's supposed to be daybreak.
Can we just say it either way? We don't want Lacey to get in trouble with anyone.
We had a disgruntled viewer that said you should call it daybreak.
Whatever it is, it's gorgeous out there. Enjoy it. Get everything you need to do done early because it's going to be another hot one out there.
Hey, and we want to let you know this weekend you have the chance to go meet Lacey, David, Megan, our entire weather team, and storm trackers. They will all be out at Bob Mills Furniture Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon to swing by, say hi. They want to take pictures with your family. Their trucks, the storm tracking trucks, will be out in the parking lot. So it's going to be a great event. And Lacey, as we come to you in the Bob Mills Weather Center, you guys always have a huge turnout for these events. You love it.
It's always at a good time of year, you know, as summer is kind of starting to really peak and it's in the air conditioning. So come say hi. We love it. And I've been saying, hey, it's touch a truck, but you can come touch David. And he loves it. So just come on out, come through the line, give him a big old hug. But we love it too, and we want to see you there. It's going to be a fun time for sure. I also love this shot. This is our Lucky Star Skycam network, and you just can't take for granted how green everything is in this shot. Sunrise is coming up in just a couple of moments, and it's just absolutely fantastic after the recent rain. The flip side of that is because of all the rain, it is so very humid. 73 at Will Rogers. When you factor in the humidity, the heat index will again be a factor today. Not as intense as what it was yesterday, but overall still a hot one on your Tuesday. Big storm system to the north, widespread rain, severe weather going on in the Dakotas where it typically is this time of year. Flood advisories in central Kansas where heavy rain and storms have been overnight. We've had a couple of thunderstorms in western Oklahoma. That's all she wrote on the Lacie storm. That's almost gone. But a few strikes of lightning between Raiden and Cheyenne. That storm is trying to drift to the northwest. One teeny tiny cell left with it. It's pretty loud. Also could have winds to 45. Temps are in the 70s. And this afternoon, guys, the humidity will be a factor. How low will the dew points go? How high will the heat index climb? That's all coming up. Back to you.
Well, this morning, News 9 has learned from our federal officials that an Oklahoma man was executed alongside his family in Syria in ongoing sectarian violence. Oklahoma's U.S. senators say this man right here, 35-year-old Hossam Saraya, was a member of the Druze community. Senator Markwayne Mullins says he is working with partners in the region, and he's in touch with Governor Kevin Stitt about this tragic situation. And U.S. Senator James Lankford says he is praying for the man's family, friends, and the entire community as they grieve this senseless loss. Back here at home, could a plea deal lead to the release of former Oklahoma death row inmate Richard Glossop? That was the main focus of a district court hearing yesterday in Oklahoma County.
Well, there's been a lot of twists and turns in this one. Richard Glossop spent nearly 30 years on Oklahoma death row before his murder conviction was overturned. News 9's Deanne Stein has more on a possible plea deal.
Richard Glossop returned to a district courtroom on Monday, joined by his wife, Leah, and other supporters. The hearing was set to address his bond request, but that took a back seat after a surprise potential plea deal surfaced last week.
I was actually at the meeting where that agreement, I think, started.
Oklahoma State Representative Justin J.J. Humphrey has followed Glossop's case closely and says he wasn't aware of a finalized plea deal, but says one was on the table.
I have known about it previously before coming here, and so yeah, I'm aware that there was an agreement.
Glossop's legal team claims emails exchanged with Oklahoma Attorney General Getner Drummond show a plea agreement was discussed. According to them, the deal included Glossop pleading guilty to accessory after the fact in exchange for not suing the state and time served, which could mean his release.
You've sat 20 plus years in the penitentiary and you walk out the door, I could understand why a man would want to make that agreement. And so again, I think that his team are going to push for that.
But the Attorney General's office says no official agreement was ever finalized. Humphrey isn't convinced.
I will be probably doing my own open records request, finding out what was the truth on this. Let's get those open records and let's let transparency and let's let the people decide what is true, what's not true.
In Oklahoma City, Deanne Stein, Oklahoma Zone, News 9.
And we do want to mention, as for that plea deal, both sides will be back in court August 14th, where the judge is expected to weigh in on the legitimacy of any plea deal.
The Oklahoma Attorney General is taking over the prosecution of a former Choctaw teacher accused of 15 sex crimes against a student. Now, we do not typically name victims of sexual assault, but in this case, the victim and her parents are asking to share her story publicly. The victim, Avery Smith, is now 19 years old. She was 16 when the alleged crimes against her began. School officials told us that her choir teacher, Samuel Melton, confessed to having a sexual relationship with Smith. The AG took over prosecuting this case at the request of the victim and her parents. And AG Drummond is also taking over the stabbing case involving an Edmond police officer. 22-year-old Ocean Hudson is accused of attacking Officer Caleb Hodem in a traffic stop back in May. He was pepper sprayed and stabbed multiple times. Hudson remains held on a $5 million bond.
6:36 on our Tuesday morning. Let's see how we're doing on the morning drive for you. Megan Gold, our meteorologist, watching the roads for us right now. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Robin. Roads are looking good. We're dry out the door. Of course, it's a warm and a humid start. A little bit of a break from the humidity, as Lacey mentioned, for your Tuesday. We've got our news tracker, Lex Stanfield, out on 235 at 23rd Street. Keeping an eye on the morning drive. It's kind of freezing up there, but traffic moving along just fine. No slowdowns for those of you that travel 235. Also, Broadway Extension, if you're coming in from the north side, from Edmond to Guthrie, it looks great as well. No slowdowns there. On the west side, I-40 and Meridian moving along nicely as the morning drive picks up here, and really all across the metro, no slowdowns, no accidents that you need to know about. So anywhere that you're headed, city streets or even on the major highways, good to go. Couple drive times for you here, all of those in green.
A former Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter has filed an appeal to the state Supreme Court, hoping to block the new social studies standards that have been implemented by the State Department of Education. He is representing families and teachers in that suit, which was dismissed last month. The judge ruled this issue is a political question that cannot be answered by the court. Hunter is asking state Supreme Court justices to determine if the judge was wrong.
Well, right now, more than $7 million in federal funding for Oklahoma adult education programs is on hold. Career Tech Director Brent Haken says the Trump administration froze the grants over concerns about undocumented immigrants. The pause affects literacy and diploma programs at more than 100 sites statewide. A decision about whether funding will be restored is expected by August 9th.
Oklahoma City's skyline may still be reaching for the clouds when it comes to the tallest building in the nation. Developer Scott Madison confirms the $700 million Boardwalk at Bricktown project is fully funded. Those are the renderings on your screen. Madison says phase 1, which includes apartments and a hotel, could break ground later this year. Phase 1 does not include that 1,907-foot tall Legends Tower, so that's not included in the $700 million, but the developer says that is still in the works. It is still a possibility. So this is such a big talker. 1,907 feet tall. It would be the tallest in the U.S., 1907, because of statehood of Oklahoma. So they've fully funded the first part. Will the second part happen? That's the big question, because that's where the tower
like
is.
money might not be an issue. So
I
we'll
know.
see. We were talking yesterday. It's like 2.5 times the size of the Devon Tower here. Just to kind of,
it's hard to wrap your mind around that. The air is going to be thinner. It's probably going to be hotter too, because they're going to be closer to the sun.
And a lot of glass.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of glass in
Some
downtown
good air
Oklahoma
conditioning.
City. The new arena is all glass. That Legends Tower will be all glass.
I mean, things are changing, growing pains, but we're not complaining, Lacey.
Oh, lots of evolutions. That is absolutely true. Today, the temperatures are really what you would expect. Nothing crazy, nothing out of control, nothing new. Very typical for July in Oklahoma. We're starting in the 70s. Some areas are in the 60s. What's not really typical is how much green you're seeing on that shot. That's our American Fidelity cam. The sun came up about 7 minutes ago, and we will warm into the mid-80s by 10 a.m. Coming up in full weather right after this break, we'll talk about the dangerous heat. Who sees rain and storm chances? They go up for some tomorrow. Weak cold front is on your 9-day. How strong is it? That's more details coming up after this.
And speaking of dangerous, police say a man spotted waving a gun in southeast Oklahoma City. How they tracked him down after he fled, it's coming up.
And a Metro dad says his wife and daughter were terrified when a naked man walked into their back door in the Sonoma Lake neighborhood. It's up on the northwest side of the city, where officers eventually found that naked suspect. A bizarre story. We'll tell you about it next on 9. It was a scorcher yesterday, and Lacey said it's the hottest we've been in a while.
Yeah, what was the heat index?
Here 107, but it got to like 113 in Kingfisher.
I believe it.
114 up near Cherokee. It was brutal. And I just love these guys. I love working with the anchors so much, because in the commercial breaks, they're always like, hey, what are you going to start with? What are you talking about here? So we can make sure we're on the same page. And I'm just to the point where I'm like, the heat. It's the heat.
Just say that.
What should we talk about? What do you want me to talk about?
Relief.
Relief.
Yeah.
Something better than what I've been headlining. There's not a whole lot of relief showing up over the next 9 days. We do have a weak cold front headed our way. Might give us a wind shift by the end of your 9-day, but we're talking a few degrees off. The air temp.
Hey, we'll take it.
I know. It is here.
We skated by for a while, though.
We really did. I mean, we delayed our extreme heat by several weeks. We really did. And on average in Oklahoma City, our first 100-degree day is usually about a week ago. So, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit later for all this extremeness that we're dealing with. As far as the 100-degree days go, we've now had 4 in Kingfisher. We've had 3 to 4 to 5 in the northwest, 4 to 5 in the southwest. Have not made it officially with the air temp for central and eastern Oklahoma to the century mark, but the heat index has been above 100 multiple times on end. And again today, the heat index will climb up to about 100. Not quite as hot tomorrow, a few degrees off, and then we'll head kind of this fluctuation pattern over the next few days, where really it feels like July, and it will feel like July all the way through the end of the month. A few degrees cooler here and there. The good news is we'll keep introducing rain chances, not really seeing anything widespread or heavy rain or statewide rain, but some storm chances nonetheless. We had a few storms overnight in northern Oklahoma with the complex that was fizzling through Kansas, and we've also had a couple storms in western Oklahoma. And we're still tracking one single storm, and it is to the east now of Radon. There's still quite a bit of lightning with it, but if you notice the cores on Next Gen Live, it is starting to decrease in intensity. So it's raining itself out. It probably won't be there much longer at all. It is completely dry and clear on our Lucky Star Sky Cam network. That's Northwest Expressway, Lake Hefner Parkway. Not a whole lot of traffic for getting close to rush hour here on your Tuesday. Megan will have your full traffic update coming up. We're at 73 degrees right now. The humidity is at 87%. It's thick. You can almost see some of the humidity, especially looking off towards Lake Hefner in that shot. It's 72 in Chandler, 76 in Weatherford, 72 in Fairview. The coolest it's going to be all day right now. So if you can get your morning errands done, if you can get out and get the lawn mowed early, that's what you want to do. That's the safest option for sure, because it will be dangerously hot again today. A little different today for the forecast versus yesterday's. Our winds will have more of a southwesterly trajectory with them, and what that does is drops the humidity some. So while the winds do pick up, more gusty winds, 15 to 25, we will see the humidity not quite as high. It's still hot. 96 with a heat index of about 100 degrees. Temperatures from the 90s to the triple digits statewide. And again, that gusty wind at least helps in the shady spots to cool you off. Chance of rain and storms in the Panhandle up to 40% in Guyman. And we might end up with an isolated shower or storm in our far western counties today. We'll watch for that. And if storms develop during the afternoon, they would have a chance to produce damaging winds. We had a few of those storms yesterday. Big ridge of high pressure going on, and that is the wind, the main jet stream winds to the north. You can see driving those complexes. But for Oklahoma, we had the complex over Kansas that fizzled. You can see that right there. And it just kind of spreads on out, pushed an outflow boundary down across the Sooner State. Keeps us pretty stable. Today, we're kind of under the heat dome, so we are clear. Now, tonight and tomorrow morning, clouds surge in. We might have a few showers to track through central Oklahoma for your Wednesday morning. Then we'll turn our attention out west for Wednesday afternoon, especially for the evening as storms take off. Some of those make a run from Arnett to Cheyenne, possibly down south as Hollis. They'll weaken, and we may see additional storms coming up Thursday morning. We'll try to get a few around by Friday morning, but again, best chances will be north and west. 73 degrees will be our low tonight. A very similar night, still a gusty night into your Wednesday morning. Rain chance at 20%, higher in the Panhandle. Highs for your Wednesday, lower mid-90s, not quite as hot, especially out west. You'll notice the cloud cover having an impact on your temps. And rain chances tomorrow are 20, 40 to 60% out to the west. And we'll watch for any of those storms to possibly produce some damaging winds. That's going to be the primary concern, maybe some small hail. Then we are hot. We're still doing it in the mid-upper 90s into the weekend and all the way through the end of your 9-day forecast. Back to you guys.
A breaking news update this morning. 2 people are killed in a head-on crash on the southwest side of the city. 2 others are hospitalized with injuries. This was the scene near Southwest 24th and Agnew early this morning. Oklahoma City police say the driver of the pickup truck crossed into oncoming traffic and struck an SUV, killing that driver and a passenger. The driver of the pickup truck is under investigation for DUI.
And Oklahoma City police were called to 2 different shooting scenes last night.
In southeast Oklahoma City, police opened fire on a suspect waving a gun around in a neighborhood. We'll get to that one in just a moment. But first to northeast Oklahoma City, where officers say a man firing a gun from a car led officers on a chase. It all began near OU Health. It ended near Northeast 36th in Santa Fe. That suspect was arrested. The suspect's name has not been released.
And now that situation in southeast Oklahoma City. Here was the scene as it played out at Southeast 44th and I-35. Police tell News 9 a suspect was seen by neighbors waving a firearm around. Police arrived. The suspect ran away. He was confronted by officers who opened fire, but the man was not hit.
Ultimately had a confrontation with the officer of some type where the officer discharged his firearm. The suspect was not hit by the gunfire. Nobody was hit by the gunfire. The suspect was taken into custody a very short time later after a foot pursuit.
And more information on the officer and the suspect involved should be released from Oklahoma City Police later today.
An Oklahoma City family traumatized when a naked man runs into their home. Blake Overstreet says his wife witnessed the man coming in their back door last night around 6:30 in the Sonoma Lake neighborhood. That's at Northwest 164th and Penn. Blake says their 6-year-old daughter saw the man. She ran off and hid. Look at this. Blake says he was able to get the guy out of his house, and that's when the man jumped, as you can see, into the neighborhood pond.
I hear my wife yell my name in a panicked or strange voice that I've never heard her use. And there was a naked guy standing there, probably about 400 pounds, completely naked, had blood all over his legs.
Again, eventually the guy jumped into the neighborhood pond. Police say the guy finally came out. He's now in custody, and officers believe he was under the influence of drugs.
In Bethany, the OSBI identified the man accused of killing a woman at an apartment complex over the weekend as the victim's ex-boyfriend. Agents say Alexander Berry shot Johnny Salazar Sunday afternoon near Northwest 23rd and Glade. She had a protective order out against him. Investigators say Berry then barricaded himself in an apartment where police believe he shot himself. Berry was taken to the hospital. We are not clear on his condition at this hour, but agents are investigating what led up to the shooting.
Your time now, 6:51. Megan Gold watching the roads for us this morning. How's the traffic, Megan?
Traffic's looking good. It is picking up as you would expect here at 6:51 on your Tuesday morning. The sun is up, of course. Sunrise this morning was at about 6:32, and that sun going to heat us up very quickly today. If you're headed into Oklahoma City from Norman, that was our Norman camera. It'd take you about 13 minutes, so good to go there. Our American Fidelity cam from Broadway Extension to 235, that looks good as well. And Lake Hefner Parkway and Northwest Expressway, no slowdowns on I-44. So really all across the metro right now, not seeing anything unusual. Starting to get a little busy on I-35 northbound from Moore into Oklahoma City, but your drive times from all directions are still looking really good. Give yourself a couple extra minutes out the door, never a bad idea.
Coming up on the Coca-Cola Porch, we are headed to Scissortail Park, where the Latino Community Development Agency is hosting a free back-to-school event. How you can get involved, you'll find out at 9 a.m.
Hey, check this out. They put out fires and they rescue baby ducks. This is Oklahoma City firefighters zigging and zagging, trying to get some baby ducks that fell into an empty swimming pool. Mama duck is freaking out, flying around. There she is. I think she finally kind of lets them do their thing. I just love watching these firefighters like have to really move quickly and get these little babies. They got all of them.
Yeah. Pretty neat. I'm sure they love those calls.
I know.
They're
Something
like
different. More baby ducks. Okay, we'll help them.
All in a day's work. Hey, thanks for sharing time with us here this morning. Lacey, have more on that forecast after 7.